I call the March meeting of the Davenport Park and Recreation Advisory Board in session. Roll call, please.
Coiner,
Here.
Greenlee,
Yes.
Who? Kefauver,
Here.
Peterson,
Here.
Powell is absent, Schurtz, Spratt absent, Walker, and Whitmire. We have a quorum.
Wonderful. Our first meeting responsibility is to approve the January 23rd minutes. I will entertain a motion for that.
I move that we approve the January meeting.
Second. Those approving the meeting indicate aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passed. We have a member of the DOLA Planning Committee here. That's Stephanie Rittmer, and she is here to make comments on behalf of DOLA. Welcome.
Thank you. Real brief. And Becca answered a lot of my questions that I was going to bring up also. But one thing that we're really concerned about is that now that this is going to, the guidelines is more than likely going to get adopted, that there's like this little underlying panic that we're going to get forgotten, but we will not. My concerns were alleviated. Our park does get year-round use, and it gets a lot of stress. And my husband and I were just shooting out numbers before I came, and it is probable to say that we can get about 100 dogs going through those gates on busy days. It gets used year-round. The times when it doesn't get used is usually during very severe inclement weather, the -degree temperatures, heavy rain. Otherwise, we use it year-round, and it's getting stressed. And right now it's closed, so everybody's wondering when it's going to get open back again. And I've got to thinking, is there some way that we can get the temporary area set up again, because it just needs a rest. The poor clover needs to grow for St. Patty's Day. So maybe if we can do a rotating schedule, maybe open on the weekends, I don't know if it would help, but a totally different area to go to for a temporary setup. It worked out well when that was done. There's an adjacent area next to the park that, pop a gate in there, do some fencing. This is where in the long term, I'd love to expand to. So that was just some of our concerns that we had at this time. And because it is very dearly missed, we love our dog park. The agility equipment, we're hoping it gets okayed, and we have something for our dogs to do more down there. I mean, they do a lot, and the area, the size of it, the dogs enjoy thoroughly. Agility equipment is just another icing on the cake. It makes our park look a lot better. Bringing to RAGBRAI. This is going to be the 6th time that RAGBRAI is going to be dipping their front tire in at Marquette Boat Ramp, which goes right by our dog park. And at that time, last weekend in July, it's questionable whether it's going to be a dust bowl or not. So it would be great, and there is some talk about this. Maybe we can get some volunteers to sign some forms, be able to be down there to do a little more cleanup detail when needed. There is capability of a hose attachment, and my hopes is that we will be able to water it, keep it green, keep it looking nice, and we'll have that agility equipment in there too, hopefully. So when RAGBRAI goes through, and this is also on Bix weekend, and the buzz is about all this right now. So it would be great if we could also present as a part of the community, our little dog park, and looking nice and presentable.
Wonderful.
So,
We have kind of I think I said our limit on discussion has stopped formally. So I think with both Becca here and our board member, Jerry, have probably taken notes and will certainly have Ragbri kind of there. And so these are good points, and I know you won't be forgotten.
thank you.
So let's hear it for our dogs.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yes. Under old business is exactly part of our business there. Do you have comments, sir? We're.
I just came to visit. I do have a quick comment, though.
Yes?
Yes, my name is Ed Thomas. I'm a retired educator. I came home a few years ago. I was with the Department of Education. I was the subject matter expert for health, physical education, and substance abuse prevention for all the schools in the state. And I see you've got some miles on you. You might remember at one time that Davenport led the way. Yes, sir. You've got some trails. But Davenport once led the way in physical fitness. Do you remember that? That was the old German Turners. Oh, well, what an organization. Anyway, when I got back, I worked for the Army Physical Fitness School. I was down at Fort Benning. And when I got back, I was shocked at how unfit Iowa had become. I was like Rip Van Winkle. I'd been gone 20-some years. I've been all over the world. Burma, Thailand, Korea. I was a Fulbright scholar, taught at many universities around the country, U of Iowa and Emory and such. So I came back thinking, it would be similar, but it isn't. And when I got back, I noticed that our physical educators had no fitness equipment that was meaningful. It was all sports. That's all they did was sports, and it was just killing our kids. So I went out and started buying equipment. And I took early retirement before giving it all away. I'm sitting on enough physical fitness equipment. Anybody know what a kettlebell is? Well, I've got about 150 of them, all the way down to the little pink ones for kids. I've got about 300 sets of dumbbells. I've got everything you need to replicate what made the German Turner so powerful. And that is called social facilitation. I read somewhere that one of you was a psychologist, but that might not be true. He was the father of social psychology. And he said that under certain conditions, a large group of people training together could get more fit, could become better human beings, be more efficient with certain conditions. Under other conditions, that performance would be impaired. So I made it my life's journey to figure out what those conditions are. And it took me all over the world. So I've come back, I've been looking out the window from the 5th floor of the old Davenport Bank building, where I made my first account when I was a little kid. And I'm looking down below and I'm thinking, what can I do? So I thought, well, I better stop by and see who you are and ask if there's any interest. It's a huge amount of equipment. And some of you might remember the playgrounds had buildings on them and where you could come and get instruction. That was part of the old playground movement philosophy. Now, we can't replicate that anymore, but we could probably develop a very inexpensive youth fitness program using this equipment, because most of it you take home. You could even do it online. And what we can do then is develop a team of kids who can demonstrate all these beautiful mass fitness training skills using dumbbells. I've got about 150 medicine balls too, and all kinds of cool stuff that all the world-class athletes are using. And it's all ages. It doesn't matter, boys, girls, it doesn't matter. It fits. And I thought, well, I better stop by and I'll send you a follow-up, Wendy, and see if there's anything you want to do about it. And I don't want to sell it. I want to give it away, but I want to put it somewhere where it will impact our children.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
it.
you very much.
I'll send you does that sound
yes.
interesting enough to
Yes.
follow up on?
Sure.
All right, I'll give
Yes.
it a try.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We appreciate it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have his contact?
No, but we're making
Oh,
sure
okay.
to come in.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
Becca-
all.
Stay till the
Becca-
end if you want to give me
Yeah, well, Becca is right there. She will get that information. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. We have the next item, which is the dog off-leash area standards that has been presented. We had received reactions and suggestions, and tonight we have the form that we want to take action on. And when you look at, we have moved the original title from standards to guidelines. And so it's a whole change that certainly reflects more effectively, in my opinion, the content of the standards, or the guidelines, yes, the contents for the dog leash. So with that in mind, the action would be for us to approve it, accept it.
I make a motion to accept the DOLA guideline document
I second
as
that.
presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the standards as presented. And so at this point, I will, if hearing no additional comments, that we move to accept the standards as they have been presented. And so at this point, we will formally accept it. Are you ready to formally accept? We had an opportunity with the motion to do discussion, and I am not hearing, so I think we're ready to move forward and formally accept. Are those in accepting indicate aye? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? We'll move on, to have our guidelines for our development in the future for our dogs in the area. Thank you very much. Under new business, we would, at this point, like to move the Davenport Recreation Division presentation to our April meeting, and that will require a motion on our behalf to do that. So I'll entertain a motion for moving the standards for acceptance or presentation, actually, at our April meeting.
So moved.
Okay, a second?
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to move the presentation for the Recreation Division to our April meeting. Those accepting that, and we'll move it there, say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
No? Abstentions? We will do that. So, Teresa, thank you, and we will move forward in that way. Our additional new business item is the final slate, and our director will present that. It is the development program, and we had an opportunity to do some voting, and as well as the city council, and this is the projected slate. So take it away, sir.
Sure. So yes, thank you all again for your participation and taking the time to review all the proposed projects in the Park Development Fund for FY24. Up here on the screen, as well as in your packet, is the cutoff line, the 10 projects that rated within the $350,000 allocation. So today we just simply need an action from you to accept this as presented, and then we will put it on the agenda for City Council to approve as well. If you have any questions about any of them again, or scoring, we'd be happy to answer anything you might have.
Yes, yes, Krista.
I move that we
Oh,
accept the
Wait.
Park Development Fund project as presented.
We had one question prior to that.
For the range trees at Duck Creek Golf Course, were those the ones that didn't get water that died, just out of curiosity?
No, that's the T line for the range. It's not trees, it's the
Oh,
mat
okay.
replacement,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yep,
Great.
yeah, makes sense.
Would you entertain the motion against, or?
No, I motion for, not against.
So we have a first motion
Okay.
and acceptance,
You have a second? I'll second it.
okay? It's been moved and seconded to approve the slate as it developed here. So those accepting indicate yes.
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 Are there individuals with not accepting? Abstentions? The slate will move on then for our planning of the coming year. Thank you so much. Our director's report at this time, please.
Sure. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy, under the weather.
We
Bear with me.
understand.
Couple things to highlight at your place. This was supposed to be with last month, but we didn't have a quorum last month, so I brought it back up. Is just sort of, you guys, several of you had asked for sort of updates on some of the projects and renderings and things like that. So there's a packet in front of you that has some of the ongoing projects and what they are currently conceptualized at and rendered. And we'll continue. I'll bring these to you guys monthly as projects advance and give you a chance to look at them and ask questions and give any review. I would expect next month we will have a better concept for the Dose splash pad, as well as the Credit Island nature area should be, it's going through our E-plan process, so that should be further flushed out as well. So that's just information for you guys. Happy to answer any questions or receive comments or feedback on those projects. I sent out an email. Thank you for those who responded. We are hosting the Iowa Parks and Recreation Conference, not next week, but the week after, Monday the 27th through the 29th. And there's some opportunities for you guys if you want to come and be part of the conference. Several of you responded, so I appreciate that. But luncheons, some of the socials, the exhibit hall, those type of things, some sessions potentially. But there's still time. If you didn't have a chance to review that and you're interested, just let me know, and I can help to navigate and make arrangements for you guys to participate in that. Staff has worked very hard as the planning committee for this conference, and we're excited to host. We got a lot, I think 36 educational sessions. I think right now we're at about close to 100 delegates registered. We anticipate probably close to 130, 140 is typical for this conference. So this is our professional association for Parks and Recreation. So these are all primarily other staff from other communities that work in the same arena that I and Betsy and Teresa and all our team do. So it's a pretty big deal for us, and we're excited to be hosting. We host typically every 4 to 5 years, so it'll be at the River Center. And then just sort of an update, because I know we constantly or pretty consistently put in our staff reports, our challenges are notable, and that is hiring. And we are right in the midst of hiring our seasonal summer staff for pools, golf, parks maintenance, our camps, so on and so forth. One thing I'm happy to report on, we've successfully worked through with our finance department and our HR department to elevate some of the rates of pay in some of the positions that we had challenges filling, particularly lifeguards and our aquatics team. So hopefully some of these adjustments will make us more competitive in that recruitment market for part-time and seasonal work. So happy to see that come to fruition. And we are hiring. So if you have people who are looking for summer work, please send them our way. Any one of us can help direct them. The application's online. Hopefully you follow our social media and you've seen us plugging away at putting the information out there. But hopefully we'll get a good recruitment this year and we'll be fully staffed to support our operations. And then lastly, about this time, we usually start talking about a spring tour. We have in the past done a bus tour of various parks and projects. One thing I'd like to recommend this year is pushing that potentially to the fall, largely because we will have much more or many more of the projects that are currently underway hopefully complete, and you'll actually be able to see them completed and done as opposed to just in the planning phase. So that's our recommendation right now, unless I hear any difference in wanting to do it this spring. That's what we'll plan for, and we'll start to put that together. Likely the October meeting, I think, is what we are targeting for that tour. And that concludes my report. Happy to field any questions.
I have one. When I was at River's Edge, there's that table that has hiring information, and there's a form that has the list of things that are open and the wage or the hourly wage. Has that happened before, or is this another strategy for helping people understand?
I will let Becca answer that.
Yeah, I also noted that there were a couple of opportunities for 15-year-olds to be hired, and how's that flying? Because I have a 15-year-old in my house that is really wanting employment, so.
Yeah, last year, with the open interviews that we hosted last summer, we had a table that we just had set up every day. And those are interest cards. So someone, if they happen to be looking and see that we're hiring, they can fill that out and drop it in the box. And then staff are pulling them every day. And then we do follow-ups with those based on what their job preference was. This year's job interest card included the age ranges. We're trying to make it a little bit easier so people understand. If you're 14, you can apply for sports official. If you're 15 or older, you can apply for these particular jobs. If you're 18 and over, you can apply for these particular jobs. Just we're trying to improve communication with anyone who might be interested. And so we use that table not only at the open interviews, but we are leaving it up here throughout every day just to catch anyone who might happen to be walking through River's Edge.
That's a good idea. Well, people walking in usually have sports equipment with them for turf or ice, so there's lots of traffic in that building. So
Yes.
It just caught my eye, and I thought, wow, where is it? And so you've mentioned how that's going, and I think that's a great opportunity, hopefully beneficial.
Yeah, we've had a much more stringent and comprehensive recruitment strategy this year, and we started it a little bit earlier. So we're seeing that was a good move.
Great, good, thank you. Keep passing the word about if you have people, young people, especially youth, looking for employment, spread the word that it's available, or they can go and identify with that. Written reports have been part of your packet, and you know, we would hope that we've read it all and put the pieces together, because it's kind of when we have two reports from two different time periods, but I think it went together easily once you sat down to read it. So if there's something that right now is triggering information and you may not have contacted a staff member already to ask the question, we could take just a few minutes for any of those questions if you would like to do so. It's overwhelming, the amount of work that staff and their assignees to work are completing. I wish that everyone could look at this and say, wow. So it's really hard to, you know, connect all the dots. But one of the comments that I thought was, if you would read through it, again and say, this really affects my precinct, and you see those things coming up, or there is what I would say, a training or a workshop that you think would be of great interest to the families that you represent in your area, to buzz out to your aldermen and encourage them to spread the word, especially those who have regular reports that come in. Mine happens to be very, very thorough on identifying activities within the community, and has been very receptive to being able to support things. So if nothing else, say, did you know that the new catalog of opportunities for Park and Rec are out, and you can stop by and get one or go online. So that's maybe a beginning point, a shout out. So let's promote ourselves.
Have those catalogs been put in schools?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to know. What about libraries? I'm for sure, presume they have.
Yeah, the school district is our primary means of distribution.
Okay,
And then, yeah, we put them in other city facilities, libraries, so on and so forth.
okay.
Great. Did you have a comment?
I see that Don Allen is retiring. You're going to lose a pretty good guy there. So I just want to say, I know Don, and I know he does a lot of work around there. And so anyway, kudos to him for retiring, and hopefully he doesn't go too far away. Okay, I just want to mention his name, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you. We, at this time, have Chris Meyer, who is our representative with the Riverfront Improvement Commission. But as you know, he has a young family, and they are on vacation because this is spring break. So, hey, I hope they're having a great time, and he should come back because it's in Florida, maybe with a suntan on the next meeting. So we appreciate him, representing us on the commission, but we'll wait. Yeah. Yeah.
We did get an email from Chris. He
Oh,
did
good.
want to, he was happy to announce that the Riverfront Improvement Commission did meet for the first time.
good.
And they were introduced to their new liaison, Courtney Jones.
Okay.
It's a temporary appointment, and they were just going through some of the basics as they're getting their footing and continuing their meetings to move forward.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. We have advisory time, and so this is our opportunity. If there is something we'd like to, have a comment on, or how you think we should be working as council members, it's really up to us what we would like to connect with. It's perfect when there's no.
I just only have one thing.
Okay.
On the Park Development Fund projects. I thank you for that bottom one down there. It says Centennial Park Agility Equipment. So $19,000, so hopefully that will work all out for us.
I would
Thank you.
say thank you guys and council for prioritizing
Yes,
that.
it did. It became
Thank you.
a priority.
You're the bodies that vote
Yeah.
this slate.
See, you're not forgotten. That's good.
You have to demonstrate it to the dogs how to use it.
Oh, yeah. One thing that I'd like to note, and I think Chris and I will need to get together further. She and I talked about birds and the importance of that form of education and opportunity within the community. And one of the things that she mentioned, there's a wealth of resource funding with the Audubon Society. And so, I think we need to put our heads together on, maybe we had a working community project with DOLA, maybe we need a bird interest group that would coordinate things. her pictures are awesome that she has from various travels.
Audubon Society, and they do hikes together. And I love how many birds we have here along the Mississippi, and they've traveled and migrated here, ones that didn't used to live here. It's absolutely mind-blowing. In fact, that we're having the cruise lines constantly talking about this. I can't wait till we have a bird lookout and viewing area. I'm sure it's gonna come, especially with the riverfront partnership as well. But yeah, lots of funds there that we could utilize.
Well, we will, Krista and I will connect and see what might happen. Yeah, Betsy too. Yeah, I got it.
Well, our facility programmer, Taylor,
Yeah.
out of Vanderveer, that's sort of in her wheelhouse to do the
Sure.
nature type programming, so.
So maybe it'd be
She
good
reports
just-
to Betsy, so.
Okay, so let's think about how we could suggest and just meet maybe at the conservatory and see what might be triggered, because it is a wealth of information right now.
Are they wanting to start a group, or you just thought it'd be a good idea?
Oh, they came here, actually. I don't know if you were at the meeting as well, but they came here to two members from the Audubon Society, and they were looking, and they talked to us, but I talked to someone outside a committee that was enthusiastic about having me join the board, and I was like, I got too much going on right now. But then when I heard about the funds, I mean, why not? And then after I got back from Florida, seeing their parks and their partnership, I just couldn't forget it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Other ideas or thoughts?
I just want to say, and I didn't say it earlier, but Becca, you've done a terrific job on this dog park thing. Thank you, Becca.
Yeah, yay.
Thank you, Jerry, for recognizing our staff, but
Yes.
all of our staff do an
Yes.
excellent job
Yes.
too. I don't want to leave everybody else out.
Yes. That's good, that's good. Anything else that comes to mind in regard to our advisory time? Shall we have one other thing? And that just is in regard to managing our questions when they come up. Sometimes our agenda is so full that asking questions and get caught in the question going deeper and deeper and deeper can be challenging. It's not happening today, but it still is something that is a concern. And so Mike and I just kind of shot around some thoughts about that. I think the most important thing is that everybody comes with, a study of the minutes and having some key questions if they come. So that's part of the whole business. And so we will continue to say, read the minutes and really come ready to go. I think that's an important part of that. The other thing that I think in my role would be clearly stay on task. And when the question and answer starts to move to other parts of it that start to dig underneath, I think that's when we need to say, that's another topic, and to remain on topic. And so I think I'm going to be doing is, since this wonderful clock is here, that we look at that 5-minute timeline in initial presentation that our visitors from the public have to maintain, that we stay with that, and at that point make a decision on whether we proceed or how to move it off for sub-discussion by the persons who are getting the information that they need, and then at the same time then come back with a response, a follow-up if it's needed. If it's not, it could just be from staff saying, met with Krista, and the question was, and it's been resolved, or something like that, that would give us in the staff report that we're staying on target. I think that's part of helping us move along. I think, and I still value the time that we have to ask further questions, and it's not to say no, never reflect on the minutes. It's you know, we need to balance the opportunity, but always make sure that your question is as important and you have no idea who else on the board have had that thought. And so a question is not, there's no bad questions, in other words. And so presenting it and then seeing how that trigger goes on whether we just move it on as a personal responsibility or a subcommittee or whatever, that we would keep moving on and everybody values and our experiences grow immensely by doing that. Did I do what I thought we were going to do? Hey, Mike, please. Yeah. And so if that's good with you, we're suggesting this, and so what we'll open up, since we've gotten this little nugget here, that if there are other ideas on how we can manage the meeting or voice your satisfaction or how it can be improved, we want to know. So as our, you know, assigned members in the leadership roles, we would appreciate your feedback. I think that would be helpful. What else do we have here? Not much here. Anything else come to mind in regard to that? Well, we have met our timeline, and some of it's because we've delayed a very formal presentation, but that's good. We'll take advantage of this. And so I would say that I would certainly entertain a motion for adjournment.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn our meeting. Those who wish to leave a little bit early indicate with yes. Yes. No, who wants to stay? I see nothing that way. So, yeah. Hey, party time. So I will say thank you to everyone who came. Thank you for sharing information. And so we now have the guidelines to follow, and our next meeting will be April 20th and at 4:30 here. So we'll see you then. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Are you golfing yet?